Gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome. Ben, it's been a long time, mate. Long time since you've been on. It's good to have you back.
What's up, mate? You all right? Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good. I've literally just seen the news because I've just finished work. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I can't believe. Well, number one, Barcelona are selling him. Number two, I can't believe that Juventus are backing Sarri after the rumours that I've heard this week about him potentially going. So yeah, odd transfer.
Yeah, a lot of people in the comments here saying Barca are letting him go. They can't believe it. It's terrible business. But this is what happens when. And by the way, when I said earlier in the build up to this that there is going to be money spent this summer. There always was going to be. Some clubs have been hit hard, and this is where the teams with money, Juve are clearly one of them, can exploit other sides because Barca are in dire straits, have lost lots of money. They've got big debts that need repaying this summer. Atletico Madrid are in the same situation. Real Madrid are not too far off from that. If you're in financial difficulties and a club comes in with money, your players are. We all played. If anyone ever played the original Football Manager games, right? Every now and then your team would get into financial difficulties. And I remember playing, and my little brother was Newcastle when Newcastle were good. And I managed to get Alan Shearer off him for £5 million so he didn't go bankrupt. And Alan Shearer was a don on that game, right? I remember seeing my little brother there crying. There's my team winning the league with Alan Shearer up front. I got him for £5 million bills. KJ, what's your reaction to this deal, first of all? And then, of course, the impact on Paul Pogba staying at Man United.
Yeah, part of me is actually not surprised. Obviously, with all the rumors about Barcelona's financial struggles, it had to be someone like Artur because obviously Messi's not going to go anywhere. Suarez is a bit old to be requesting 72 million transfer fee, and everywhere else in the team, you got Vidal, you got Jordi Alba and PK. You got all these players that are good, but they're not going to demand the amount of money they're needing to get out of these struggles. So someone like Artur is like 24, 25, got a good pedigree about him. It makes financial sense if you're going to sacrifice someone. And if the rumors are true as well, with Pjanic coming the other way, it's not a bad swap for a couple of years just to fill a gap until they be able to find someone who can probably replace Artur. But so it's not fully surprising. Like, I kind of understand why they're doing it. And if I was playing Football Manager, and that was the situation I was in, I'll do it too, innit? So,
yeah, but I don't. Sorry, Terry, I don't get that. I don't get that at all. I don't understand how this could have anything to do with financial hardship when actually the rumours now are that Barca are trying to discuss a 10 million plus Pjanic deal, which doesn't really help their financial hardship. It only makes sense if it's that 75 million price tag or whatever it is. We know how shady Barcelona are when they sometimes do these deals that all of a sudden, 75 million for Arthur, then all of a sudden they've then paid 70 million for Pjanic, and it makes no sense whatsoever. So I'm slightly, I don't think I'm not sure this transfer has got an awful lot to do with the financial hardship side of things for Barcelona. I just think it's a case potentially that Juventus are coming with a big bid, and it's not something, like you say, they can turn down right now with that bid. So maybe Juventus are playing the market a little bit. But if they were to bring in Pjanic as part of that deal, it just wouldn't make much sense. And also, Pjanic is is he nearly 30? Pjanic, isn't he? Why would you sell a 24-year-old kid who's up and coming? He's looked sweet whenever he's played for Barcelona this year. Replace him with someone just with a £10 million difference in Pjanic. For me, for Barcelona, it makes no sense whatsoever. So I just think there's something about this deal that just isn't sitting right at the moment. And apparently, if you listen to Sky Sports, and Sky Sports are always just the worst when it comes to these rumours. Apparently a contract still got to be agreed. So is Arthur going to go? What happens if Arthur doesn't want to go? Where are they at then? To me, it doesn't make much sense whatsoever, this deal at all for either party. The only people it makes sense to is us for Pogba. If Pogba said that he's not leaving, then for Juventus it makes sense for them to make a move in the market.
And that's why I think that's which one of you man's got a dog?
Not me, mate.
Oh, sorry, it's my next neighbour's dog. He's barking. He's barking at rocks. Literally, just barking.
I'll say it again. So I was reading this article earlier on today, and it speaks about Barcelona's financial situation. Just to give it some flavour, it says why Barcelona are vulnerable to the financial disaster over COVID-19. It says despite last summer's humiliating exit to Liverpool in the UEFA Champions League semi-final, Barca president Josep, I can't pronounce his full name there, Maria, I can't even try and pronounce that. My dyslexia kicks in. And his board could look back with a sense of satisfaction with the club's financial performance. On paper, things look rosy. Barca leapfrogged leapfrog their eternal rivals, Real Madrid, to become the world's biggest earners in football. Blah, 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 blah. The income of 840 million euros, a chunky 83 million more than Juve. The COVID-19 crisis has changed everything, however. It brings into stark relief the several questionable aspects of Barca's finances. And that's one thing I would say about some of these football clubs in Europe. I've always had issues with Chelsea, how they bought a David Luiz for 30 million. He flopped. They sold him for 50 million. He did brilliant, and they bought him back for a lower price than they originally paid for him when he was still in his pomp. I always feel there's something shady going on in there. So maybe this is part of it. He says football is a volatile business. Leeds United once beat Barca in the European Cup semi-final. Have been out of the top league since 2004. It looks at least a decade will pass for the Manchester United to regain their. Anyway, I want to get to the crux of it. It says Barcelona have already lost 154 million pounds as a result of the corona crisis, according to reports coming out of Spain. This is irrespective of whether there is a conclusion to the La Liga season or not. And that's what's different for, say, the Premier League teams. Because now that there's going to be a resolution, it's gone from being a 150, 200 million pound hole to being about 30 million pound hole. So I think that plays a massive part. He also goes on to say that since the Spanish government brought in lockdown on the 14th of March, Barca's museum, which earns the club 58 million pounds a year, has been shut down as an example. So he goes on to speak about other bits and pieces. He then goes on to speak about there are financial debts of around 600 million pounds. It is rumored that up to 1/3 of that is due by the end of 2020. And with nearly 200 million pounds out of the turnover of the club being missing, they could be in a position where they're forced to sell players in this way. And I think an element of that will be played in that. As you say, though, if they end up spending the same amount of money on is it Pjanic?
Pjanic,
it will be very, very weird. All's going to come out in the wash, really, when it comes to this. But I do think the CV19 situation is going to create problems for some and not others. And I know a lot of City fans in the comments are saying, what about financial fair play? Well, financial fair play is being relaxed because of CV19. UEFA aren't stupid. UEFA know that football clubs need to spend. UEFA need the rich football clubs to spend money because that will help the clubs that have lost money, because you spread the money around essentially. If they constrain people to spending, other clubs will go out of business. So it has to happen. But
that's why their ban will be lifted, by the way. That's why City will not be banned from the Champions League next year, because there is going to be a number of financial fair play rules that are going to be slightly relaxed. You're right. So it would make no sense banning City when a number of those clubs are going to commit those fouls or commit those, implications to those rules in the future.
I agree. And I think what's going to end up happening in that situation is you'll see City's ban not go through, and then City will be able, and then FFP relaxed, generally speaking. And then what they'll then be able to turn around and do is say, go out and shed loads of money, which they couldn't if FFP was still in place, which again, I think is bad, which is why I think some Liverpool fans are panicking about them not buying anybody, because at the moment they're in front of them by a long, long way. But if City go out and do a madness, and City go out and go and spend 300 million pounds, which, by the way, if there's no FFP, they can do in a heartbeat. It's the same as Newcastle. If there's no FFP for 2 years, Newcastle can exploit the situation so much. They really, really can. We've got Dave joining us now as well. Hi, Dave. What's your thoughts on this deal?
It looks so dodgy, It's like a couple seasons ago they did the Cillison. They did like a Cillison and somebody else swap that was just incredibly dodgy. It just doesn't sit right, and it doesn't make any sense as well, because it's not like Pjanic is a massive upgrade on Arthur. Because whenever I've seen Arthur play, he's been he's been a decent player. So,
oh wow! I was just reading here that Barcelona's income by the end of 2020 could drop by over 400 million euros.
Yeah, but I don't think that's I think that's going to be the problem for all the big clubs, though, Terry. Like, I think even taking into account United, look at that United debt now, right? And let's have a look at it in 12 months, because I can guarantee that United will rack up such a bad loss from this that we'll be as affected as a club like Barcelona. The only difference is the money in English football compared to the money in Spanish football. The people who I feel sorry for the most out of all this are the lower clubs, so to speak, or the weaker clubs in Spain. in Italy, because they were miles away from the top of the league before. God, they are going to be light years away from the top of that league now. In England, there's a bit more money in football. There's a little bit more money as well when it comes to people like us all spending recklessly. Look, I'll share something with you. So my mum-in-law, I suppose, today sent me that in the post. It's a Man United face mask. How long until all the clubs are jumping on that? And that's going to become a big financial revenue stream. Then it's sponsorship deals on it. Terry, you know the finance game more than anyone else. There's a lot of money in football, but I think, was you reading that article from the Bleacher Report?
It's taken from the Bleacher Report. It's part of it. It's one I grabbed.
Yeah.
But I've read these in multiple areas. I think what's interesting about, by the way, I also know, because my company's dealing with it, there's a few companies that are soon going to be having their badges and labels on digital fintech neobanks. So you can sign up to this bank, but you can have your football club's badge on the Visa debit card, which but there's a levy that will be paid to the football clubs. But we're dealing with it now, and it's big business. Like the percentage the clubs are getting is massive. I think the difference is you're right. The TV money for the English teams is colossal in comparison, and the problem is it's around who's going to maintain it. So La Liga's viewing figures are dying to a point where year on year less people in Spain watch it, where the Premier League viewing figures continue to grow and go through the roof. As an example, Man United's biggest kind of chunk of losses will come from match day revenue, but it's still only going to be a 25% element of our turnover. Man United will probably lose in a region around 30 to 35% of their annual turnover, not up to 50%. The difference being between us and Barca is we have available to us a £240 million kitty. Some of it is our cash, some of it is a very low interest rate overdraft facility. So we may see, as you say, the debt increase slightly if we use that overdraft to make some cash payments. Equally, our debt has already increased, but the majority of the debt increase that we've seen isn't spending debt. It's the fact that our debt is in US dollars and the exchange rate has dropped so dramatically that the debt has increased. But as the pound starts to recover, United's debt will, if the pound jumps up 3, 4, 5, 6 points, you'll suddenly see a situation where our debt gets like wiped off overnight as well. But the interest rates we pay on that debt is so small that it's only going to be eaten to Man United's finances by around 30%. It's still a dent in us, but United are also in a situation where we have to take a big risk. Because if the Liverpools of this world are not going to spend, if by chance City do get their ban and they lose a few top players, United, for me, have to strike while the iron is hot and go out there and take a risk of they're not being in financial ruin. But, and if FFP is taken away for a couple of years, there isn't any concerns with having a loss for a couple of seasons, because the money will return at some point. Fans will come back at some point and it'll be okay. But it's really finely balanced. Some financial experts think it's going to be crazy bad. Like, that's why Liverpool aren't spending. There are others that think it's all being over exaggerated, and by October gates will be open, fans will be back in stadiums, it will be okay. But the bit I really want to focus on is Paul Pogba staying. For me, Juve are the team that he's continually linked to, along with Real Madrid as an example. Real Madrid have already told Juve that Real Madrid have already kind of said they're not looking to spend big this summer. Juve are just about to spend £72 million on Arthur. In your opinion, Ben, does that pretty much keep Paul Pogba at Manchester United?
Yeah, sorry, I've got to run after this, Terry, because the kids downstairs have been a nightmare for the missus, so I'm going to run down there. But we could do another show at another time and go over all this stuff as well. On Pogba quickly, I think the thing with Paul Pogba is it's great if he's staying, if he wants to be staying. If he doesn't want to be at the football club and he has no interest whatsoever as being part of the Manchester United team moving forward, he's as useless to us being there as not being there. So I think all in all, it's just down to his attitude and how he embraces what's happening now. For everyone, we're all living in a new Pogba world, a new COVID world, whether we go about doing our work and our jobs, and footballers are the same. They're having to adapt like we're all adapting to our own lives. So for me, the big issue with Paul Pogba is he going to show it as much behind closed doors for the foreseeable future? I hope he does. For me, he's a player who loves the energy of the crowd, but he hasn't actually dealt well with the pressure of the crowd at United, which is what just flabbergasts me with him. And on top of that, does he want to be here? Has he signed that contract extension because he knows he can't go anywhere else and get that money anywhere else? Or has he signed it because he believes in what Ollie and the club want to do moving forward. And if it's the second of those options, then I'm absolutely delighted, because he is by far one of the best midfielders, or if not the best midfielder in the world, potentially one of the best players in the world now when he's on his game, with the decline of Messi and Ronaldo over the next couple of years. So he has the potential to win Ballon d'Ors. He has the potential to be the best player in the world, but he needs to show it, and he hasn't shown it consistently. So now it's down to that.
I get that. I know you got it. What I would say to that is this: Ollie, for me, is a catalyst here. I don't think Ollie would encourage the club to keep Pogba if there wasn't buy-in. If there wasn't, we've seen all the pictures in the last few weeks of Pogba in training. Man looks so happy. There is this notion of being unhappy, trying to force a move away. I think that him and Ollie have a good relationship, and I think there's been a conversation. And sometimes there's home truths. There could be that bit of, look, Paul, and I said this in the summer, and I feel it's true. I think Man United looked to sell Paul Pogba because he wanted to leave. But maybe they've turned around and look, Paul, no one's willing to pay for you. We want to keep you, though. That can be a game changer for a player to know that actually the 2 or 3 clubs that have been telling my agent they're interested aren't willing to put their money where their mouth is. But Man United still want to keep me. And it does change your mindset. You might want to, I want to leave my company. I reckon the grass is greener. But if none of the other companies want to take you on, what are you going to do? Not do a good job, not earn the bonuses, not earn the money? So I think you're right. He has to want to stay for it to be a success. But all the evidence for me says that Paul Pogba looks very happy at Man United right now.
I agree. And I think you're only as good as the players around you and the team around you. And I think Pogba hasn't had that person or those players around him to click with. I think the mould and the transfer and the way we've gone about our business hasn't been the right way. And I believe that now it is. I think it was a bit of a kick in the ball to him when Maguire got the captain's armband, because I think he thought he was nailed on for that, because he thinks he's the best player in the world as well. Now that Maguire's got that, now that we're settled, and now that he is coming back into a team that is performing so much better than it did before, I think he has a platform now to be brilliant. And I just want to end on, someone in the comments a second ago said Pogba ain't that good. You don't watch football if you don't think Pogba's that good. Literally, go and revise. Any proper football fan out there will tell you, no matter what club they support, a world-class Paul Pogba on his day is unbeatable. But I will sit here and be completely honest and say, unfortunately, we haven't seen that Paul Pogba consistent enough yet for Manchester United, and that's what we need to see now. Anyway, lads, I've got to run.
Appreciate you coming on, mate.
Another day, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye. Interesting points. I mean, Kate, I know you had a few issues there. Did you go and kill that dog? It's silent now.
No. Yeah, I think he's gone back inside. But literally, he just barks at the same rock, and he's been doing it for the last 2, 3, 4 years.
Do I know much about him? No. What I will say is a lot of Barca supporters in the comments are angry, like really angry about him going. I stand by what I think. I think Barcelona are in financial difficulties. There's also there's huge debts there, huge investment problems, loads of things going on. They may be forced into selling. I don't see him spending 70 million on Pjanic either. However, I wouldn't put it past clubs to have creative accounting and never actually pay. Never actually remember, if you sign a player for 70 mil, but you take in installments, the money shows on your account instantly for accounting purposes. You don't necessarily need to get all that money. There's nothing that's, there are lots of players out there where there's disputes, where clubs haven't paid the full price and clubs are in disputes over getting that money sorted. Sometimes I do believe in the murky worlds of football, there could be, look, we're going to pay you 30 million, but we're going to put through on the books that you're giving us 70. I do think these things happen. I really do. So I wouldn't be surprised in terms of that. Cameron here says this deal makes no sense. Wild amount. Yeah. Were you shocked, Dave? Were you shocked by the amount when you saw it? 72 mil.
Considering his age and how long he's got left in his contract, I expected like 50 to 60, but I think 70 is a bit much. Just a slight overpayment. But I guess they're sort of paying for his future, so
it's that, and I think also Barca literally must have played hardball in the negotiations, and they've been like, "Yo, listen, we're getting hit by this COVID. We need peas now, and if you want him, pay the price." And Juve must be like, you know what, for what we want to do, it's worth that punt on a player like Arthur. So you never know. This might be a great calculated business from Juve in the long run.
This comment's an interesting one. Before we jump to Daniel, it says here 47 million for Bruno sounds cheap now.
He was cheap when we bought him.
To be fair, he was coming out of Portugal, so he wasn't like he was very good, but he just wasn't as proven in what you'd call a big league. So,
what's going on, Danny? What's your reaction to this news today? Do you think Pogba will stay now?
Well, I think the first time we spoke, I said Pogba will stay. I knew this was going to happen anyway. Just a bit of background on the Arthur situation. This is what's really happening, right? People never feel sorry for football players, but this is what's happening to Arthur, basically. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona. They've announced this fee, basically, with Juventus to back him into a corner to get him out the door because they need to raise money. And Pjanic is going to go from Juventus to Barcelona for a fee, but that's about half that amount. That's the only reason why that fee is 72 million. But Juventus are doing Barcelona a massive favour. But look, they can do what they want. It benefits Manchester United. That's what I'm happy about. That puts, the media, they've just been irresponsible. The Pogba deal to Juventus has been dead. Nedved publicly said last summer, we tried to get him, we couldn't do the deal. And it's been dead since then. Once they put Ramsey on that money and they put Rabiot on that money, those two guys are costing Juventus about £500,000 a week. And again, this deal is only happening because Pjanic is going to Barcelona. They're not just paying that £72 million fee and that's it. Pjanic is going the other way, and Arthur has to agree. He still hasn't agreed. He's already said he doesn't want to go there. They're literally forcing his hand. Imagine a football club agreeing to fee with another football club and the player hasn't even agreed to go there yet. In fact, the player's already said, I don't want to go.
It's exactly what Man United did to David Beckham.
Yeah.
Like David Beckham spoke about it. He walks into Fergie's office and Fergie says, you're going Real Madrid. I don't want to. You're going Real Madrid.
Oh, and Sir Alex did it. Sir Alex did it to Dwight York as well. I think he caught him slipping in a petrol station. Like, where are you, man? He's at a petrol station or something. And Fergie's told him, "Yeah, we're selling you. See you later."
And you know what's mad in all of this? If this was a player that if Barcelona fans wanted, they didn't want, sorry, and they refused to go, the amount of uproar and amount of he's selfish, he's not good enough to be at club, kicking out would be going on. But now, and it's like, oh, where's the loyalty to the club and all this business? Fans will say that, but as soon as a player that as soon as the club doing it to a player that they want, there's silence. There's not really much going on. It's like, I hope
no, but Barcelona are in an absolute mess, which is good for everybody else. Like once Messi goes, for the young kids watching, Barcelona were underachievers before before Rijkaard come along and before Pep came along and took them to a completely different level. They was a Madrid shadow the entire time, and they'll go back to being that way. They've been a shambles over the last few years, which is good. Good news for everybody. From my perspective as a United fan, we're in the Champions League a few years from now. We're going to be, even next season, we're going to be coming up against, we know what a 25-year-old Messi looks like against Manchester United. 24-year-old Messi in the next 2 years. And when he's gone, it's going back to being underachievers.
Sweet as. Dan, mate, thanks for popping on, mate, and having a say. It looks like you're out with the kids or something. So you go and enjoy yourself, bro. Chat to you soon, my man.
Play football in the garden. Thanks, bro. Cool.
Play football in the garden. I knew it was something. I could hear the kids, and my daughter's actually swimming in the pool right now, and I'm being told, like, when are you coming out? When are you coming out? Later. I'll be out. Working now, woman. But yeah, no, I agree. Well, Josh here says, so Barcelona are gonna get a lot of funds from Coutinho and Arthur. They want to replace these players somehow. Yeah, Barca's in a weird state though as well. Now I don't follow La Liga football, but I keep coming across reports, like of infighting, and wasn't there something that happened a little while ago where like
with their presidents,
they were trying to pay cuts.
They were trying to get rid of someone, and like the players didn't want it. It was. I think that club's going to end up like AC Milan if they're not careful. Because the way they've been spending money before, like with Ousmane Dembele and Coutinho and so on, like these deals were so big, and it was literally like all of these players had to bang, and they basically had to go and win like 3 Champions Leagues in a row for it all to make sense, and it was just never going to happen.
Yeah, their transfer policy over the last few years.
Yeah, it's been
their transfer policy over the last few years has been mad.
Yeah, it has. It's crazy.
Very mad.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, look where AC Milan are now. Look how long it took Liverpool to come back. Man United. It's only since Ollie's got on board and we started to run ourselves properly again that we're starting to look like a football team again. And it's so important to be run. You could have the best team, best players, best manager in the world. If your club is run poorly, it will fall apart. And I think that a little like Messi, Messi kind of keeps and is the glue, isn't he? Messi is the glue that's kind of held it all together. But in 2 or 3 years, he'll be done. at the very highest level, if that makes sense. He won't have the same influence anymore. And it will be nice, it'd be nice to see them fall by the wayside and these things go in cycles. We're going to add a couple of callers to this before we end. Be interesting to see what this man's got to say. Safe, Paul Pogba, hopefully staying at United. What do you think?
Well, it's a good news. I'm happy for that. But I will sack his agent. So when I sign it, when I told Pogba to sign a contract, the terms and condition will be, please sack your agent. And the reason I say this, Terry, is because in my lifetime, I have done many contracting work. And if you have an agency that say that if you had one person, you terminate this contract early, then if the agency started to get involved and they started to give you so much harassment, then you're not going to work with that agency anymore. So what makes it any difference for Paul Pogba agent for him to be at Man United? Either sell Pogba or sack Pogba agent. Do you agree with me?
You can't just do that though, just for the fact that Man United don't hire Mino Raiola. They've got no control over who Paul Pogba's agent is. And if you've got a player that you're already trying to keep happy, and you're saying to him, we'll only give you a contract if you sack your long-term agent, who's also a very good friend of Paul Pogba, do you think that's going to make him happy? Do you think that's going to make him want to stay? I know Man United fans do not like Viola, and trust me, he comes out with some wild things, and you got to question what goes through my man's head, yeah? But if he's a person that Paul Pogba trusts, and he can get there, and if he's a person that makes Paul Pogba who he is, and we want the best out of Paul Pogba, we got to bite the bullet and be like, yo, he's got to stay. I don't think making Pogba sacking will get anyone anywhere, personally.
I understand that, but it's causing so much problems. That's how I see that.
Yeah, I was going to say that Mino, he had so many other contacts. So it's like if you piss off Mino, then you're effectively cutting yourself out of so many decent players who could better Man United in the future, and you don't want to do that.
What I would say about Mino Raiola?
That's possible, but I mean, Fergie Verdict, he always said that he doesn't want to work with Mino Raiola.
Yeah, and you know what I'd say? Look, Fergie's a legend. Fergie's one of the greatest. But look at the level of players United didn't sign between, say, 2009 and when he retired in 2013. And that's because football was a changing landscape. The agents have so much more power now than they did in Fergie's day. And I understand why Fergie had an issue with it, but you've got to move with the times, and you need these related. The thing we got wrong with Mino when he first started bringing players to us was we didn't manage the relationship properly. We allowed him to make too many stipulations too early on, and we gave him too much control. That's about managing the relationship, setting expectations early on. These things can't go wrong, as an example. But Pogba's never going to sack him. Steve, thanks for coming on, mate. We've got Josh on the show. Josh, what's going on, my bro? Oh, sorry, I've just got you on mute. Let me unmute you, bro. How you doing, mate?
Oh yeah, what's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
Oh, we've got a bit of playback.
Wait, that's on mine?
Yeah.
Oh, because I have the Pro, the Roadcaster Pro. That's interesting.
I don't know what you got turned on. Have you got the stream on site? Yeah.
I closed it.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing. but hey. Yeah. Try calling back on.
All right, I got you.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, I get so confused about adding things to work sometimes with the playback on there. But yeah, Pogba's not going to get rid of him. Mino Raiola isn't the issue. Man United is the issue here. Like, Mino Raiola is an issue, but we enabled this situation to become so bad with Paul by not delivering on our promises, by running the club so poorly. And if we had been running the club from Fergie's retirement until now, how we're currently running it, we would never have fallen so far from grace. We would have had a better stable to kind of work from, if that made sense. And that's why, like, I get annoyed at some of the things that he said, but actually, it's a bit like when I was having a go at the Arsenal fans the other day. Arsenal fans, Mapai, what he did to Leno, that's why we lost. No, you lost because of 16 years of erosion That's why you are where you are. Like, it's Man United are not in the position they're in. The Pogba situation isn't because of Mino Raiola. It's because of the way the Glazers and Woodward run the club. And I think that to blame it all on an agent it's for me, it's not getting your own house in order. We'll try and get Josh on now and see.
How about that, guys?
Yeah, that seems to be much better. That's perfect.
All right, cool.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on this deal and the impact it's going to have on Paul Pogba staying at United?
Again, I have to agree with everyone. That's wonderful news for us. You know, obviously personal bias, you know, as you can see, but at the same time, if Real Madrid aren't going to splash the cash, and if Juventus isn't going to splash the cash for Pogba, I honestly don't know where else he's going to go. So, and I think, again, I know there's a lot of marketing with like hashtag Pogback and the smiling photos and training. Like we're all not naive. However, Pogba is a player that wears his heart on his sleeve. Guy, like, bro, who are you looking at like that? Like, you don't know me like that type of thing. And they used to be mates before that even happened. So I think Ali's man management is really paying off. And I think we can see that in how he handled the Lukaku situation. Because the way Jose would have handled that would have totally thrown the player under the bus, been disgraceful. And I'm a fan of Jose, like, let's say, vintage Jose. But Ali's man management is different. The way he conducts himself is different. It's a lot more positive. And I think that definitely creates a better workplace environment. And Terry, you talk about that all the time.
No, you're right in that. And Oli handled the situation with Lukaku so well that Lukaku thanked him for shipping him out.
Exactly.
Just interesting about that. I've had staff members that have worked for me before who have been awful at their job. But rather than me telling them that they're trash and leave, I've helped them find new motivations in life, and they leave naturally. And they're like, "Oh, thank you so much for opening my eyes to that." There's what you can politely manage people away. You know, and how you do it, you have got to know the person, but you know, are you happy here? Is it really what you want to be doing? No, I'd love to do this. Oh, look, maybe I can help you. Maybe I can help you with CV. Maybe I can help you with this. Maybe I can give you some interview techniques. Maybe whatever I can do to help you. Because what I really want is you to get a new job and leave naturally and organically, rather than me having to manage you out, which is a very difficult process that creates problems. It then creates tension within the business because even though they're not a great employee, they're going to have friends there. And it's, oh, you're getting rid of Joey. He's a good guy and blah, blah, blah. So there's a way of doing it. And Oli did it right. Oli didn't want Lukaku, but you knew what? Lukaku wanted to leave. So he put his arm around, you know what? I'm going to do you the favor, Lukaku. I'm going to get you the move you want. I know it's going to make you happy. And he's like, oh, thank you so much. You're such a great guy. Yeah, he wanted rid of you as well, but there was no point telling you that. You know, you can always make it work. You both wanted the same outcome. And I think that's the thing with when it comes to Paul Pogba and managing him. It's Pogba, I think, is happy at Man United if he knows the club are moving in the right direction. What you need to show him is that we need you on board to be moving in the right direction. It's win-win. Because if Pogba stays and is happy, Man United elevate. I've got a video dropping. Hopefully it's coming out later tonight. Might be tomorrow. But I sat there last night and assessed his impact on it. I'm going to let this little cat out of the bag here. And you watch the full video for even more of this. So Pogba's statistics were pretty good when he came on. 100% passes into the final third. Like 100% completion on passes into the final third. 100% completion on forward passes. 100% completion on through balls. 100% completion on long passes. And 100% of his tackles won when he came on. But the bit that stood out to me, the impact on the team when he came on. So Man United, before Pogba came onto the pitch, were averaging a shot every 10.3 minutes. That reduced to a shot every 4.6 minutes when he came on. Key passes were at 12, a key pass every 12.4 minutes. That reduced down to every 5.6 minutes. Dribbles completed. We only completed a dribble every 10 minutes. That dropped down to 3.5 minutes. And we were dispossessed every 4.6 minutes in the game. When he came on, that increased to 10 minutes. Plus more. The impact he had is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We held on to the ball more. We created more chances. We had more shots. And by the way, we had more shots, more chances, more dribbles completed and lost possession less times in the last 20 minutes than we did in the rest of the game put together. And yes, Spurs were tired. They made substitutions as well. That's his impact. So a fit Paul Pogba in this Man United team, yes, Sancho's going to come in and do bits. Rashford will do bits. Pogba is going to do his bits. But for me, if Bruno is going to do his bits. But if we are going to become Premier League champions again, if we are going to become competitive in Europe again, Pogba has to be part of it. And I just love seeing all these people, oh, he's not that good. He isn't this, he isn't that. Great. You keep deluding yourselves with these stupid thoughts. Because when he's delivering and when he's standing there with that Premier League trophy in his hand, when he's breaking records, when he's winning Ballon d'Ors, he's just going to look stupid. He's going to be, and he will do it. He will, as long as we as a club are also moving in the same direction. We need to be on point with him. Do you get why? It's like this. Imagine writing brilliant lyrics for a song, but the people that create the beat shit. Like the song, you need everything. You need the lyrics, you need the beat, and then you need the marketing. Then you need everything to be perfect to make that song sell. If you've got the guy who writes great lyrics, but the beat's crap, the marketer has no idea what he's doing, and the record label isn't trusted, it's not going to fly. And that's what the problem Pogba had. He was doing his job, but the rest of the club was crumbling around him. And I think Ollie's rebuilding it. I'm happy that he's going to be there. I really am. And I know it triggers rivals to be so happy about Paul Pogba staying, but we're not here to keep your feelings happy. We're here to speak truth.
Yeah, and I hope that that just is just a little bit less noise that Paul Pogba has to hear now. Obviously, there's always going to be people questioning him and saying he should be doing this and that. But now that there's going to be less transfer rumors and less, Paul Pogba's trying to leave, Paul Pogba's a virus. When there's less of that, I'm hoping now again he can be like, right, I can now fully focus on what I'm doing at United. And the fellow who was on at the start said it depends what mentality Paul Pogba's got, if he wants to stay versus if he's being forced to stay. For me, I'm like, hey, if a player is amazing, I don't really care what their reasoning is. If someone told me that Kevin De Bruyne plays so well for Man City, not because he loves Man City, but he loves money, am I going to care? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to care what motivates him. I'm just going to accept it. So if Paul Pogba is being forced to stay and he wants to leave, but he's been like, oh, I can't go anywhere, so I might as well stay here and do my best. Hey, I got no issue with that personally. Like, as long as Paul Pogba is doing his thing, balling with the man them, I'm happy.
Boys, how confident are you guys in United winning the Europa League? Because you just brought up Lukaku and it made me think of Inter. You're very confident.
Very.
Okay.
I guess
I would say a good
play the first match.
Do you think you're like the best team left in that competition?
No. Personally, I think Inter have the better manager, not the better squad, better manager, and I feel like Conte, in his experience, has a better chance of getting to the final and winning the final compared to Oli. But I'm still very confident that we can still win it. Like, because Inter might trip up and we might not meet them anyway. So yeah, like, do I think we're the best team in there? Not necessarily, but I definitely feel like we've got a good chance of winning it. Definitely.
When you go through it, so you've got this discount. You've got Inter Milan are one of the favourites. Are we better than Wolfsburg? Yes. Are we better than Shakhtar? Yes. Are we better than Rangers? Yes. Are we better than Olympiacos? Yes. Are we better than Basel? Yes. Frankfurt? Yes. Seville, Roma, I would say on paper, yes. Copenhagen, yes. Istanbul, I've never heard of that team. Yes. You then got
Istanbul Bashki.
Yeah, better than them. You got Leverkusen. Are we better than Leverkusen? I think we are. Now, on any, because the interesting element's going to be, and no one knows how they're going to cope with this. It's not two-legged. It's going to be a knockout competition, one-off games that have to be ended on the day. So the mindset is different. On paper, we have the best squad, in my opinion, out of all of those clubs, right? And I think Inter have got some good players. Didn't we beat Inter in pre-season, as an example? I know that's only pre-season, but we've played them. We have
yeah.
Got Lukaku. I mean, Sanchez wouldn't be able to play, as an example. They've got Lukaku that you know is going to be dangerous. But I honestly think Harry Maguire could stifle him for a match. It isn't like he's got blistering speed. It isn't like he ain't skillful. Like he isn't gonna do what Bergwijn did. So you've got that, and they've got good players. I'm not denying it. But if we're hitting full form with Pogba and Bruno, we can beat anybody. Like if we were in the Champions League right now with this squad, I'd be confident. I'd be like, we could not win it, but we could do bits in the Champions League with this squad now, as it is. So Europa League is there to be won. The team I fear the most is Wolves.
Yeah.
I fear Wolverhampton Wanderers because whenever we play them games are like
difficult. It's just difficult. It's
When
just
when the
difficult.
when the Dammer comes on, when the Dammer shows up, it's done because he'll
I'm
burn
not
anyone.
worried about him. Every time he's played against him,
It's
Williams,
not him. It's Jimenez. It's Val Jimenez. Always to the madness
Jimenez,
against us, man.
Jota, Jimenez and Jota. That's a great
there we
combo.
go. Boys, I appreciate you all coming on and having your say. Everyone in the comments, thank you. Hit the like button. Please hit the share button as well. And we'll see you all again soon. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.
Cheers.